Hi everyone, my name is Katische and your wonderful Barre host Rudi asked me to come and be a guest on the blog this week, and I'm sharing this message with you because Rudi asked me if I would be able to share my story about why I have launched a course online which is called Break the Taboo, Thrive in Perimenopause and Menopause. And I would just like to tell you a little bit about my story and who I am, how I know Rudi, and what this course is all about, so you can see if it's something that's actually that you can relate to and if it's something that you would be interested in. So I'm going to share my screen and just show you a couple of pictures so that I can tell you a little bit about my story with perimenopause and menopause and have a chat to you about what I'm trying to achieve in the online space and the real space as well. But I'll just share my screen so I can show you a slide, and I'll bring it up larger. So hopefully that's the only thing you see on your screen. So these are a couple of pictures and photos of me over the last 12 months as I have been sharing my journey through perimenopause. I'm a 43-year-old mum of 2 boys who lives in Brisbane, and I have been going through perimenopause this year. Now, one of the interesting things that I have discovered as a result of going through perimenopause is that it is something that most women are unaware of or even identify with. I think we all know what menopause is, but so many women out there don't know what perimenopause is and at what stage of their life that word is relevant to them. And it's quite neatly tied up with our perceptions on aging. So perimenopause is something that if I could post perimenopause on Facebook, most people will skip over it because they're like, well, I'm not that old yet. Most people identify menopause as something that old women go through and something that is defined as being a part of your life when lots of things happen, it's horrendous, you don't really want to know about it, and the less you know, the better. You just deal with it when you get there. I liken it a bit to when, if you have a child, you're pregnant, people talk to you about pregnancy and all the things you should do about it, but they keep the birth thing and the afterbirth stories pretty tightly held until you've gone through it, and then they just lash out and tell you everything that they went through, hope that you'll identify and understand, and finally they've been heard. Well, it's the same with perimenopause. Most people don't want to talk about it, don't know what it is, won't tell you what's in store, and when you open the conversation and say, well, I'm going through this, they'll go, oh my God, same. Or they'll go, what's that? And aren't you too young? And then when you start to describe things, it'll be like, oh, hang on. That sounds a lot like me, but I thought, and the but I thoughts are the important thing. So I've been documenting my journey on social media to try and help break the taboo of perimenopause and menopause. So I started to experience a number of different symptoms, and I like to talk about the symptoms of perimenopause because unless you know what they are, you can't be educated and you can't watch out for them. And when you don't know what they are and you don't know how to watch out for them, you don't know how to manage them. And quite often a lot of women feel like they're actually going insane, and they present themselves to their GP, and most GPs, bless their heart, have 15 minutes to talk to you. If it's not a tickable box, then they're not quite sure. So perimenopause and menopause isn't really a conversation that GPs have had with a lot of women. It's becoming better. There are campaigns around the world globally now to educate GPs about the transition and the importance of it for women. But historically, so women have been classified as hysterical during menopause, and it's where the whole word hysterectomy came from. In the past, it was seen as the hysterectomy was the solution. We'll just rid the woman of her ovaries and all of her female sex organs, and then she'll feel better, and then we won't have to worry about this hysterical woman. But actually, the body actually goes through amazing changes during perimenopause and menopause, and it's actually 2 parts of your body that you experience changes in. One is obviously your ovaries, And the second is your limbic region, your brain. So you're having to deal with two changes in your body, two regions of your body that are controlling the changes, which result in symptom changes. So basically your body reduces the production of estrogen and progesterone. Now, estrogen and progesterone are actually created in two parts of the body, so the ovaries and the limbic system, and they decrease in the production of those sex hormones along with serotonin, melatonin, and testosterone cause dramatic changes for you in your body. So it's nothing to be afraid of. And the difficult thing is that every woman experiences differently. So I might say to you, well, I suffer from hot flushes, and you might never, ever experience a hot flush. But if at least you understand what a hot flush is, then you can know what it is when it comes on. So for me, my story was summer 2018. As you know, it was quite hot. We had some 45-degree days here in Brisbane, and I was finding that even when it wasn't hot, I was hot. And I was finding that this heat was making me irritable. What I would find would be that I would come over with this flush of heat and go bright red and just sweat, dripping sweat. And I couldn't control this. Sorry, I should have closed my messenger in the middle of it. I couldn't control this heat, and I didn't know what to do with it. It was making me irritable, and I just felt like I needed to go and sit in Woolworths in the freezer department, literally. And I know I've said that before in the middle of a heat wave, but like I really could have gone and lay on top of the frozen peas for a while to cool down. I was finding then it was exacerbated by feelings of frustration and anger. And the things that I was doing was not helping. So I was having a glass of wine, and the glass of wine would bring on a hot flush. And I would be frustrated because, you know, I'd been all day and I'd been so good, and it was school holidays and I'd been patient with the kids, and it was finally time to have a glass of wine at night, and I'd get 2 sips in and just boom, wet all over. So I was like, okay, something's going on here, not quite sure about this. The other thing was that my kids started to say to me, why are you so angry all the time? I'd be like, I'm not angry. It's just, what are you on about? Like, I'm fine. I'm like the cool and calm queen. I have oils for that. They're like, you are just angry all the time. And I thought, okay. My perception is different, but possibly what I was experiencing more was that frustration rather than the anger. And we all perceive emotions differently. So, but okay, I'm getting really frustrated a lot. I'm experiencing what I think is hot flushes. So I said to my mum one day when she was over having dinner with us, and I just started breaking out in sweat. I said, it's not hot in here, is it? And she said, no, it's not hot in here, love. And I was like, I think this might be perimenopause, Mum. I think it's a hot flush. And she laughed and she got all embarrassed, and she's like, oh, boy. Now, my mum, like most mums out there, kept her dealings with menopause to herself because it's not something that we shared. She had a hysterectomy when I was in high school, and the hysterectomy brought on an induced menopause, and she went on very quickly into HRT. So it wasn't something that I was aware about. I was very aware of the hysterectomy and the chaos that caused for her in her life and how unwell she was. But pretty much after that, to be honest with you, I did go to boarding school. So I wasn't in tune with what happened to my mum and what age she was really. The second thing that happened to me in my perimenopause journey was that I started to bleed. So my period changed dramatically, and I was previously on the Mirena. I had that removed last year. I decided that I didn't want the chemicals in my body anymore. After my body adjusted to the Mirena, I just started to bleed uncontrollably for about 6 or 7 weeks. And it got to the point where it was hard to walk. I literally had no energy, as you can see in these photos. I needed nana naps all the time. I had migraines, just felt rotten. And at the same time, I put on the most weight I've ever put on in my life. So 72.5 kilos was the height of my weight. And I thought to myself, I'm not doing anything different. I haven't been the world's best exerciser. I'll have to admit, I probably do need to come in and become a regular Barre customer and find the inner ballerina again. I did do ballet as a little girl, but 72.5, I kind of just went, that's ridiculous. There's something going on here. And then because I'm an ex-university lecturer, I am the queen of research. And so I just started to do my research and thought, well, I'll just start sharing what I am going through, and people can help me, I'll help them. And I've started to put together some offline workshops. And this last week, I have turned that information into an online course. Now, the reason that I transformed it from an offline in-person workshop is that I just really couldn't help all the women that I wanted to help who weren't located in Brisbane. So we would get together for 3 hours on a Wednesday night, and I would teach that workshop to the women. Women would cry in the workshop because they were just so frustrated with life. And when I would explain what perimenopause was and what menopause was like, they were just like, oh my God, you have no idea. I have been trying to tell people what I'm feeling. My husband doesn't understand me. My friends don't understand me. So what you're telling me finally makes sense. And people, women were walking away from this workshop just saying, I feel so much more empowered. I have an understanding of what it is. If I need to seek specialist advice, I can now, because I have the language that I need to talk and not feel stupid when I go to a GP or my gynecologist. So quite often women can present to medical specialists and just like feel disempowered because they feel overly emotional about what they're experiencing symptomatically, but they don't have the words or the terminology for it. And so therefore they just feel like a hot crying mess, and therefore they feel like they're just being a stupid woman. And they spend most of the doctor's appointment crying and they don't get the real stuff. So within 15 minutes world of a medical world, it goes too fast. So the whole point of this course that I've developed is to empower you to understand the language around perimenopause and menopause, to understand the potential symptoms, what those symptoms mean for you, so that you can keep an eye on that, to provide you with the language and the range of solutions that are out there to manage your symptoms if you get them, so that you can make a choice whether you wish to be somebody who manages menopause and perimenopause by yourself. That's the Eka flyover. Last day of the Eka today. Or you wish to go a conventional HRT route. So I have chosen a natural route, and I spend a lot of time in this course explaining all the different elements that you can follow. But I follow a pillared, being an ex-university lecturer, I follow a pillared structure to the journey. So modules are now called pillars in the online world, and so I break it down for you. So there are 5 pillars spread out over a month. And then we have an online Facebook group, which is private and female only, just for the duration of the course, so that you can ask questions and have discussions. We then have offline events where we catch up, have something to eat together, chat, get to know each other, and then play Menopauseopoly, which is the menopause version of Monopoly, and also make beautiful DIY items to help you manage your symptoms. So that is a large overview very quickly about my perimenopause journey. I just really wanted to introduce myself and break the stereotype that menopause happens when you're 50, because perimenopause is basically the lead up to the last period that you have. So menopause is 12 months after your last period. Perimenopause is that lead up period between the last period and 1 year after. So anything prior to the clinical definition of menopause, which is 12 months after your last period, is known as perimenopause. You may experience the same symptoms in both or not at all. So I just wanted to start that conversation with you, introduce myself, thank Rudi for the opportunity to share my story on socials this week, and invite you to come join us online. It's a very safe environment. There is no question too stupid or too embarrassing. We get out there with the lingo and the anatomy and remind you that it's not, you should not be afraid about your body. You should not be afraid of calling the parts of your body their technical names. And you shouldn't be afraid to have conversations like, having sex makes me feel like I am inserting shards of glass in my vagina, or I have no desire, or I'm growing hair on my face, or whatever it may be. Jeez, my boobs are sore today, but I can't be pregnant. So it's a really safe environment. Love to see you. Read more on the blog, and I hope I'll see you at the Barre studio soon. Have a great day.